When my parents found me, I pretended to be utterly clueless, 3 parts innocence, 7 parts naivety, just like the real heiress. That's right, I'm the imposter. Because I resembled my parents more than the real heiress, I was mistaken for her. In my previous life, I met a tragic end in a foreign land, my limbs severed, all because I spoke the truth. This time, I decided to feign ignorance, and became the true heiress of the Lin group. When my adoptive parents from the Lin family arrived at the orphanage in their luxury car, a crowd gathered to watch. Holding a paternity test report in their hands, they pointed to my photo in an album, addressing the director. It was her, our daughter, Lin Yun. The dean was shocked and quickly sent someone to the school to call me back. At that moment, I was shielding the textbooks in my arms while being beaten and kicked by a group of people in the alley outside the school. Seeing someone coming, a group of boys and girls with rainbow-dyed hair disappeared without a trace. I stood up, watching Gu Feng approach me with the same ease as in my previous life, and I dusted off my pants before following him back. Seeing me in a disheveled state with bloodied scratches on my face, Mother Lin's eyes welled up with tears. Yun, do you remember Mommy? It's all Mommy's fault for not watching you properly, which led to you getting lost when you were 5 years old. I looked at her with a puzzled expression, pretending to accidentally reveal the faint scar on my forehead. When Mother Lin saw the scar on my forehead, she became so excited that she stepped forward and grabbed my hand. Yun, do you remember how you got the scar on your head? I touched my forehead and recalled. It seems like it was when I was very young, playing hide-and-seek with my brother, and I accidentally bumped into the steps. Then I clutched my head, as if the memory had caused a painful headache, which made Father and Mother Lin feel deeply distressed. Lin's mother embraced me, her hand gently stroking my back. There, good girl, don't think about it anymore. Mom knows, you are our daughter. And so, I followed them home and became the heiress of the Lin group. My original name was Zhaoxi, and I had come to the orphanage on my own, at 5 years old. My grandmother held a few wrinkled bills in her hand as she went out to buy me a birthday cake. On her way back, it started to rain, the muddy road was slippery, and my grandmother slipped, falling into a large puddle by the side of the road. She never got up again. My grandmother was gone, and I became an orphan. I arrived at the gate of Sunshine Orphanage, pretending to be a child who had lost her family. The day I appeared at the orphanage, so did Lin Yun, the true heiress of the Lin group. Because we looked alike and were the same age, we were often mistaken for twins. In my previous life, the detective mixed up our toothbrushes, so when Mrs. Lin mistook me, I corrected her, and that's how they found the real Lin Yun. Lin Yun pretended to be affectionate, inviting me to go with her to the Lin family home, asking me to continue being her sister. For this, I even secretly returned the 1 million yuan reward that Mrs. Lin had given me. I had thought she was grateful that I hadn't taken her place as the Lin family's daughter. But little did I know it was the beginning of pushing me into a death trap. At first, she poured tea over herself and framed me for it. Later, she pushed Mrs. Lin down the stairs and blamed me, who was standing nearby, which ultimately led to my expulsion from the Lin family. On the eve of the college entrance exam, she lured me out under the guise of making peace, got me drunk, and then abandoned me with local thugs nearby. When I woke up again, I was filled with shame and anger. But she held a video of my humiliation, threatening me not to tell anyone. For the college entrance exam the next day, I had no choice but to endure. On the day the results came out, I discovered I was pregnant. On my way to a black clinic, I drank the bottled water she had tampered with. I fainted, and before I closed my eyes, I saw her cold, mocking gaze. She said, "If you have to blame someone, blame your bad luck." After waking up, I was locked in a cage, in the dark, damp warehouse. 10 rusty iron cages held dozens of women with swollen bellies. In an instant, I understood what was about to happen to me, but I was unwilling to accept it. I ran away 3 times, and the last time, my hands and feet were cut off, and I died in excruciating pain. Fortune has turned, and I have been reborn, since heaven has given me another chance. I must seize it firmly and repay all the humiliation she inflicted upon me. When I woke up after being reborn, I was 16 years old. I spent a year creating an identical scar on my forehead to match Lin Yun's. Since I resemble a daughter of the Lin family more than she does, I might as well take her place and become the heiress of the Lin group. The day I re-entered the Lin family mansion, I was treated like a princess. First, Mrs. Lin enrolled me in an elite school in Xi'an City and donated a building, hoping the school would give me special attention, especially in terms of academic performance. However, When the preliminary results came out, Mrs. Lin realized she had underestimated me. In my previous life, after Lin Yun was recognized and returned, she devoted all her thoughts to clothes, shoes, and bags, causing her academic performance to plummet. Meanwhile, with the help of the private tutor hired by the Lin family, I successfully gained admission to one of the top 5 prestigious universities in the country. Unfortunately, in my past life, I was unable to continue my studies. When Lin's mother learned that I had excelled academically, she happily asked me if there was anything I wished to study. I had poor posture, so I hired a dance teacher to correct it. I didn't know how to play an instrument, so I hired a guzheng teacher to teach me. I also wanted to join the Lin Corporation, so I frequently consulted with Mr. Lin about business management. I was naturally gifted and made rapid progress. Mr. and Mrs. Lin looked at me with increasing affection and admiration. A month later, Mr. and Mrs. Lin invited various prominent figures from the city of Xiang to attend my welcome banquet. Everyone thought I would be crude and uncouth, but instead, I appeared in a snow-white dress adorned with tassels, stunning everyone present. At the banquet, I saw Xian standing beside my brother Lin Feng, exuding an extraordinary charm. Xian is the only son of the Su family, one of the 4 great families of the capital city, in her previous life. Lin Yun was struck with awe upon seeing Xian and vowed to marry no one else. Lin's mother teased her for thinking about getting married before she was even an adult. In your previous life, you yearned for it but couldn't attain it. This time, it's in my hands, brother. My voice rang out clearly, and sure enough, the 2 of them turned their heads simultaneously to look at me. Who is this? Is he your classmate? I asked curiously. My brother was about to shake his head, but I saw Xian gently kick him with his toe, and my brother nodded. Yes, my college classmate, Xian. I smiled and extended my hand. Hello, brother Xian. My name is Lin Yun. Xian hesitated for a moment but still shook hands with me, and so, I got to know Xian. A hole in a lie often requires many more lies to patch up. Ever since Xian claimed to be my brother's classmate, he would visit Shamshire University every few days, as I almost always had to discuss matters with my brother every week. Brother studied financial management, and when Father Lin was too busy to attend to me, I would have to come to Xiang City University to seek help from brother Xian. Here, I brought you your favorite cold brewed tea. In my previous life, Lin Yun was wholeheartedly determined to marry Xian. It took effort to find out that he liked tea, especially specially brewed cold brewed tea. It is said that his mother used to make it for him when he was a child, but unfortunately, she passed away many years ago. On the day Lin Yun made it, I had the fortune to witness the entire process. I smiled as I handed over the tea I had made myself. Xian drank it with delight, and when he looked at me, his eyes sparkled. It's still Yin Yan's craftsmanship that's the best. Oh no. Once you get married, I won't be able to drink such delicious tea anymore. Xian teased me while sipping his tea. I didn't speak, just smiled, but my brother chimed in. What's the big deal? You marry my sister, and you'll be drinking until you're old and gray, until you're stepping on your coffin stone. Hey, why'd you hit me? Xian gave my brother a light tap on the head, his face serious. Yun is still young, don't joke about her like that. My brother rubbed his head and muttered, how is she young? She's almost 18. I lowered my head, realizing that Xian's feelings for me hadn't yet reached the level of liking. With the Lin family's help, I performed even better than in my previous life and was admitted to the Department of Finance at Tsinghua University. On the day I arrived in the capital to report, it was Xian who picked me up. I glanced behind him, feeling a bit puzzled. Where was my brother? Xian gritted his teeth. He got drunk last night and hasn't woken up yet. Brother has always had a good tolerance for alcohol. How could he be so easily drunk? A notification sound came from my phone. When I opened it, it was a cheering sticker sent by brother. I understood in my heart. So, all my little actions had been noticed by brother. University life is very exciting, something I never experienced in my previous life. I continuously put the knowledge I learned into practice, gradually taking over some of the operations of the Lin Group's branch in the capital. I handle both studies and work with ease, except for Xian. He probably feared revealing his true identity, so he rarely came to school to see me, but whenever I was handling matters at the branch office, I would always catch a glimpse of him. We met almost once a week, and this went on for a year. Just when I thought we might grow closer over time, he showed up to my birthday party with another girl. He introduced me to the girl. Zhou, this is my sister, Lin Yun. I pursed my lips, suppressing the strange feeling that was beginning to stir within me. Xian Gage. Who is she? Xian replied. Fu Wanzhou. We grew up together since we were kids. Oh, so you two are childhood sweethearts. I tugged at the corner of my mouth, raising what I thought was a gentle and poised smile to welcome Fu Wanzhou's arrival, but I didn't notice the hint of something unusual that flickered in Xian's eyes. I began to deliberately avoid Xian, but strangely, We ended up meeting more often than before. He still called me sister as usual, and this time, he brought along a few so-called childhood friends to introduce to me. On the day of the first snow, I agreed to go to a concert with the senior who had been pursuing me. After the concert, with my tacit consent, he tenderly tucked a stray lock of hair behind my ear. Just as he leaned in to kiss me, Suyen, who had been following behind, pushed him away. The intimate atmosphere was shattered. And the senior, furious, blurted out, "Are you crazy?" When I finally saw Suyen's face, I stammered nervously, Su Xiao, why are you here?" Suyen's brows furrowed deeply as he glared at the senior, enunciating each word, "Get the hell out of here." The senior glanced at me, then at Suyen, as if suddenly realizing something, and turned to run away. I glared at Suyen with anger, demanding a reasonable explanation from him. Unexpectedly, he took my hand and placed a gentle kiss on my hand. I stood there in stunned silence, but with a look of distress, he said to me, "Oh dear, your hand touched my mouth. What are you going to do about it? You're responsible now." 2 years later, I got engaged to Suyen. On the day of the first snow, after we got together, he took off his vest, and I put on a lifetime's worth of acting skills, first feigning surprise, then pretending to be angry, and finally making both him and my brother pay dearly before I was satisfied. At the engagement banquet, Mr. and Mrs. Lin were surrounded by people from Xiang City. Mr. Lin is truly blessed. Not only does he have such an outstanding daughter, but he also found a son-in-law from the Su family of Jing City. The Lin family has always been the perennial third place in the circles of Xiang City. After today, with the Su family backing them, Mr. and Mrs. Lin will be able to swagger through the circles of Xiang City. Half a year ago, when I told them about my engagement to Suyen, my mother's laughter added a few more wrinkles around her eyes. My father, on the other hand, directly transferred 5% of the shares to me and promised to give me another 5% after we got married. I smiled and agreed, becoming a shareholder of the Lin Group. The engagement of the only heir of the Su family in the capital city once made headlines. Photos of me and Suyen flooded the internet. As the leading lady, I naturally caught the attention of those with ulterior motives. On this day, some issues arose at the group's headquarters, requiring the presence of shareholders. The meeting was interrupted halfway through by someone suddenly barging in. The intruder's hesitant gaze fell upon me, and they spoke. "Chairman Lin, there's someone causing a disturbance downstairs, claiming to be your daughter. If you don't go down, she threatens to slit her wrists right there." The meeting was paused, and the group went downstairs. There stood a girl who looked about 70 to 80% like me, holding a fruit knife to her wrist. She was shouting frantically, "Call your chairman down now. I'm her real daughter. The one here now is an imposter." The 2 security guards beside her were trying to persuade her not to act rashly, having already sent someone to notify the chairman. She pointed the dagger at the security guards and shouted, "You said half an hour ago that you were calling someone. Where is he?" Someone yelled, "If you keep this up, we'll call the police." Lin Yun actually laughed. "Go ahead and call. That way, the police can arrest that imposter inside." She swore solemnly, which only made the onlookers more uncertain. "The chairman is here," a sharp-eyed person shouted, interrupting the whispers around them. Lin Yun clearly heard it too and looked over at us. When she saw me, the hatred in her eyes intensified, and she charged at me with the dagger in hand. "You vile wretch, Axi, Dai, Axi and Nahuan," those were the names the orphanage gave us. The dagger was sharp, glinting with a cold light. I stood rooted in place, as if struck dumb with fear. Seeing this, Lin's father quickly pulled me behind him. Somewhere along the way, someone stuck out a leg and tripped her, causing Lin Yun to fall to the ground, only managing to get up after a long while. She looked up, gazing at Lin's father who was shielding me, her eyes brimming with tears. "Dad, it's me, Yun. Don't you remember me?" As she spoke, she swept her bangs aside, revealing the scar. Father Lin's face twisted with disgust. "Don't think you can pretend to be my daughter just by getting a scar." But standing beside him, I clearly saw his hand tremble when he saw the scar. Yes, after all, they are father and daughter. Blood ties are a mysterious thing. Father Lin must have his doubts at this moment. I decided to go along with it and pointed to the media rushing over from a distance. "Dad, let's take her home first. With the media here, it's not good to cause a scene in front of the company." In the Lin family's living room, Lin Fu, Lin Mu, I, and Lin Yun were seated. Lin Feng received the news and rushed back. Upon seeing me and Lin Yun, he stood frozen in place. Mom, could it be that you gave birth to twins back then, after arriving home?" Lin Yun rushed to my room, freshened herself up, and changed into a new outfit before coming downstairs. The refreshed Lin Yun sat quietly beside me, looking like a pair of twins. At Lin Feng's words, the hostility in her eyes suddenly flared. "Brother, are your eyes blind? I'm your real sister. What kind of twin? She's just a shameless, disgusting bitch. A bastard with no identity dares to impersonate me and take the position of the Lin family's young lady, mom and dad." You guys need to get this slut out of here right now. The older generation of the Lin family were all highly educated intellectuals. Even though father and mother Lin were over 50, no one had ever spoken to them so rudely to their faces. Lin Fu slammed the table and shouted angrily, "Shut up!" Lin Yun was startled and shrank her neck like a quail. "Your mother only gave birth to one girl. Where did the twins come from?" Lin Fu sighed and said to me, "Yun Yun, what do you think?" I looked conflicted. Since Ah Huan claimed she was Lin Yun, maybe we should do another paternity test. As soon as I finished speaking, Lin Yun clapped her hands in approval, but Father Lin said, "No way, why not?" Lin Yun's voice was shrill, piercing my eardrums with pain. I moved further away. Lin Yun's father frowned deeply, his tone resolute. I said no, and that's final. Lin Yun refused to give up, stamping her feet in frustration. Only through a paternity test can it be proven that she is Lin Yun. Only then can she reclaim her rightful place. She doesn't understand why, when I, the imposter, am willing to take the test, her own father is unwilling. I sit to the side, inwardly mocking. Of course he didn't want that. It is I who am brimming with talent. It is I who hold the shares. Most importantly, it is I who am engaged to Su Yan. If his biological daughter were someone else, then the benefits I bring would not fall to him. It's likely that even the stocks of the Lin Group will take a hit. Which is why I'm not afraid of Lin Yun coming to my door. In the face of profit, everything else must take a back seat. Seeing that talking to her father was useless, Lin Yun turned to her mother, tearfully recounting how hard her life had been these past few years. I didn't get into college, so I started looking for odd jobs everywhere, but no one would hire me because they thought my education was too low. They all had parents, so they mocked me for being an orphan, giving me all the dirty and tiring work. I sold alcohol at a bar, earning only $3,000 or $4,000 a month, just enough to barely make ends meet. She rambled on, recounting how she had failed the college entrance exam, struggled to find a job, then worked as a dishwasher and was bullied, and how selling alcohol at the bar earned little and was looked down upon. When she mentioned being dragged to a hotel almost by force to sell alcohol, Lin's mother could no longer hold back. She looked at Lin Yun with eyes full of guilt. "All right, let's do the paternity test one more time." The results of the paternity test came out. Lin Yun is the real daughter, while I am merely an imposter. When Lin Yun came to me with the report in hand, trembling, she said, "Even in this lifetime, you will never steal my life away." Only then did I realize that she had also been reborn. During these days of waiting for the report, Lin Yun was unusually quiet, as if she had already foreseen my fate. Her gaze at me was filled with disdain and mockery. The news of the true and false heiresses of the Lin Group quickly topped the trending lists of media outlets across Siang City. Netizens buzzed with speculation, gradually dividing into two camps. One faction claimed I was the true heiress, while Lin Yun was merely a clown. A photo was also posted specifically, showing Lin Yun holding a dagger in a wild and deranged manner outside the Lin Group building. Is this guy for real? I'd believe he just escaped from a mental asylum, and he's supposed to be the real heir. Another faction supports Lin Yun's takeover. If he's not the real heir, where does he get the nerve to cause such a scene outside the group's headquarters? Would you dare to do that? Netizens were arguing fiercely. A netizen named Man Like the Wind even posted a special thread, digging up a photo of me and Lin Yun together at the orphanage. From the age of 5 to 17, holy cow, big news. The real and fake heiresses actually look so alike. Yes, the photo in the news doesn't show it, but one looks like a young lady, and the other looks like a madwoman. Is this from when they were kids? They look so alike. Mrs. Lin, why don't you come out and explain if you had two daughters back then? Everyone began speculating that Lin Yun and I were actually twins. I sat in the living room, watching the financial news broadcast on TV. A financial expert was analyzing what impact the true daughter of the Jin family would have on the Lin Group. The Su family had inadvertently revealed that, regardless of who Miss Lin really was, they only recognized the one they were already engaged to. If the real heiress turned out to be someone else, it could likely cause a sharp drop in the Lin Group's stock prices. The TV signal cut off. I looked at Lin Fu holding the remote control. "Dad," Lin Fu frowned. "Yun Yun, you've seen it too. The current situation is very unfavorable for the group." I nodded to indicate that I understood. A while ago, the group just signed a project worth 100 million with the Su family. To ensure the success of this project, the group has invested almost all of its funds. If something were to go wrong at this critical moment, Father Lin took a sip of water and continued, "That's why your mother and I have decided to announce to the public that you two are twins. You are the elder sister, still named Lin Yun, and your younger sister will be renamed Lin Huan." For a moment, I felt like laughing, but I have good manners and didn't actually laugh out loud. To achieve this outcome, they must have spent a lot of time arguing with Lin Yun, otherwise Judging by Lin Yin's temperament, she would have taken a photo of the paternity test report and posted it online the very day she received it. I wouldn't wait for 2 days. As a shareholder of the group, I have to be responsible for my money. I nodded, gladly agreeing. Lin Yin changed her name to Lin Huan and took a position as the head of a project team at the Lin Group. In just my first week on the job, I received over 20 complaints. Not only were the people in her project team coming to me, but everyone who had ever worked with her was coming to lodge grievances. Sister Yin, are you and Lin Huan really twins? With her intelligence, it's truly hard to put into words. I tried to calm the other person down. Huan may have a lower education level, but she's very clever. Please bear with her a bit more. Once the project is completed, you'll all receive double bonuses. Thank you, Sister Yin. Long live Sister Yin. One of the conditions Lin Yin set for not exposing the paternity test was to take charge of the project. After much deliberation, Lin Yin's father assigned her to a medium-sized project. A capable officer was promoted to deputy in hopes of minimizing the losses. Complaint emails kept pouring in. Without my intervention, anyone in the group who mentioned Lin Huan would be collectively condemned. A month passed in chaos and turmoil. The project finally fell through, as I was working on the documents. The office door was suddenly forcefully kicked open. I looked up to see Lin Yin glaring at me with eyes that seemed to burn with venom. Is it because of your underhanded tricks behind my back that those people no longer listen to me? I furrowed my brows. My abilities aren't strong enough to command respect. There's no need for me to take action. I've been extremely busy lately and don't have time to deal with you. As I said this, I called my assistant and asked her to escort Lin Yin out. Lin Yin once again went to extremes, sweeping the documents and computer off my desk. Dad told me not to come to work anymore, saying I caused the company a loss of 10 million. If it weren't for you stirring up trouble behind my back with my subordinates, how could the project have lost money? She picked up a cup and was about to throw it at me. You should be the one to leave. Imposter. Thud. The cup slammed hard against the back of my hand. Yin felt heartbroken. After sending a photo of the bruises on my hand to Lin's father at noon, I didn't say a word. In the afternoon, Lin's father directly notified that Lin Yin was forbidden from setting foot in the Lin Group ever again. That night, Lin Yin made a huge scene. The next morning, as I was leaving, she suddenly said to me in a sinister tone, "How is it, my dear sister, to be raped?" My hand trembled. The painful memories of my past life resurfaced. I forced myself to remain calm, putting on a blank expression. What? You were raped? Want to share your feelings with me? Sorry, I'm very busy. I'm leaving first. I suspected that Lin Yin might very well try the same trick again. I hired a private detective to keep a close watch on Lin Yin's every move. This allowed me to focus more comfortably on the charity projects. To secure my position as a daughter-in-law of the Su family, one needed not only talent, looks, and wealth but also prestige. Entrepreneurs, to varying degrees, all engage in charitable activities. Reputation can sometimes be a powerful buff for capital expansion. Sure enough, when I appeared on the front page as the leader of a charity project, the previous rumors questioning my claim to be a wealthy heiress and my takeover of the Lin Group gradually died down. Even later, when Lin Yin subtly hinted on Weibo that I was a fake heiress, netizens would even come to my defense and criticize her. Is the younger sister jealous of the older sister? The older sister is talented, beautiful, and does charity work, and what does the younger sister do besides eating, drinking, and having fun? If it weren't for the family's wealth, she would be a complete social parasite. I work hard to earn money, while she works hard to spend it. I do charity, while she buys in bulk, maxing out her credit cards. 1 month, 2 months, Lin Yin, apart from hanging out with some troublemaking second-generation rich kids, didn't seem to be doing anything particularly special. I couldn't shake off a feeling of unease. Keep a closer eye on him. If it really doesn't work out, find someone else to help. I'll pay double. The person on the other end of the line was silent for a moment. Triple the price, and I'll arrange for someone else. Okay. In no time, the private detective said the people had been arranged. Next, they will take turns keeping watch day and night. I thought everything was in place, but I was careless. In the hospital room, Lin's father and mother were wearing breathing masks. My brother sat in front of Father Lin, while Lin Yin tearfully leaned over Mother Lin's bedside. Seeing me, she rushed towards me, trying to slap me, but my brother stopped her. Brother, what are you doing? This wretch wants to kill our parents so she can inherit our Lin family's fortune. Let me go. Let me beat her to death. I looked at my brother, puzzled. His eyes were red as he said, the car's brake pads failed. When Mom and Dad were turning on the elevated highway, they couldn't slow down and just went straight off. My heart skipped a beat. Did you call the police? Yes, they've already reported it. The police are still investigating. I pondered in my mind who could have tampered with the brake pads. It's not impossible for a competitor to go to extremes. Lin Yin started shouting again. I told you it's this imposter. I saw her come out of the garage with a toolbox. It's her who wants to kill our parents, I sneered. I even saw with my own eyes that you tampered with the brake pads, murderer. Linyan screamed and lunged at me again, ready to tear into me. Bitch, bitch, bitch. I stared at Linyan, watching her flail about, and suddenly understood. It's her. I asked my brother, which car did Mom and Dad take? My brother replied, the silver Mercedes. As expected, the Lin family has many cars, but only a few are driven regularly. When father and mother go out alone to enjoy themselves, they prefer to keep a low profile, so the silver Mercedes was their usual car, but recently, I bought them a new one, and this old car is now mine to drive. Brother doesn't know this since he's been away from home lately, but Linyan is well aware of it. It was originally me she wanted to kill. Let the police investigate. After saying that, I left the ward. Inside the room, my brother was reprimanding Linyan in a hushed voice. Outside the door, I called the private detective. Beep, beep, hello. Hearing the drowsy voice on the other end, I was unusually angered. I paid you to keep an eye on someone, and instead, you managed to get my parents hospitalized. The other side was confused. You didn't tell me to keep an eye on your sister, did you? When did I ever have to watch your parents? Don't slander me, you retorted. I've recorded all our calls, I said. She tampered with my brake pads. My parents took my car and got into a car accident. What the hell? The voice on the other end grew frantic. Something happened at my place these past few days, so I asked someone else to keep watch. I'll go find him right now. He gritted his teeth. That punk Gufeng dares to play me like this. I'll kill him. Who? I was stunned. Gufeng. The voice on the other end replied. Yes, another private detective. Gufeng. I suddenly realized Gufeng had been infatuated with Linyan in his previous life, to the point of obsession. It seems that in this life, he's upgraded and has become an accomplice. The police arrived. The result indicated that the brake pads had naturally aged, leading to an accidental incident. Since Gufeng could become a private detective, he was naturally skilled at cleaning up after Linyan. After seeing off the police, I turned to look at Linyan. Her eyes were slanted with an unmistakable sense of triumph. It seems that after being reborn, she has indeed become smarter. She looked at the two lying on the hospital beds, her voice gentle. The doctor said that Mom and Dad suffered head injuries and fell into a coma. It seems they won't wake up anytime soon. The board wants to elect a new interim director to take over Dad's position. Then she turned to me. I asked the lawyer, if Mom and Dad are identified as being in a vegetative state, I can inherit the shares. As for you, she smiled, if I accuse you of defrauding the estate and take back your shares, you won't be anything anymore. When the time comes, we'll see you and still look at you. My gaze turned slightly cold. No wonder she's been guarding the sickbed like a shadow these past few days. This is what she's been aiming for. Just as I was about to retort, my peripheral vision caught a slight movement from Lin Fu's fingers resting by the bed. All right, I said. Father Lin woke up. Roused by anger, that day, Linyan boldly declared that she would become the largest shareholder of the Lin Group, and everyone would be beneath her. It was so ridiculous that I couldn't help but laugh out loud, and Lin Fu was also awakened by her bold and grandiose words. This time, Linyan was directly confined to her home. On her birthday, Linyan was unusually quiet. She obediently followed behind her mother, greeting the guests at the party, and on this day, I announced the wedding date with Suyen. Everyone was congratulating me. Even Linyan, holding a glass of wine, smiled warmly and said to me, congratulations to you, sister. I took the wine glass and drank it all in one go. Her smile deepened. There's a big surprise waiting for you later. I took a glass of wine from the waiter and handed it to her. Congratulations to you too. I have a gift for you as well. Linyan took a few sips from her wine glass and then left under the pretext of something. I watched her retreating figure and said in a voice so low it was almost inaudible, happy birthday, I hope you like the gift. I was a bit tipsy and went to the room to rest, holding the keycard. In just a couple of minutes, I heard the door opening next door. A little while later, knock knock, knock, the knocking sounded, and I got up to open the door. The waiter who had just served me wine was standing right outside the door. He handed me a plate from the food cart, gave me a meaningful look, and quickly left. Inside the plate was a room key card with the number of the room next door written on it. I let out a long sigh, locked the door, and fell into a deep sleep. Linyan had been kidnapped. News spread across major media outlets nationwide. The daughter of the Lin Group has been abducted, and the kidnappers are demanding 50 million. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Lin, reported the incident to the police, who then reviewed the hotel surveillance footage. Only Linyan entering room 807 was visible on the surveillance, but within 5 minutes, 2 burly men swiped their cards and entered. When they came out, one of them was dragging a suitcase, leaving the hotel lobby openly and without concealment. Another person slipped out of the hotel quietly a few minutes later. Surveillance footage showed the two getting into the same van, and after entering a parking garage, they never came out. Coincidentally, The surveillance in this underground parking garage was malfunctioning. The trail ends here, the police said. Lynn's mother was on the verge of fainting from sorrow, asking Lynn's father if he could come up with $50 million to save Lynn. That's $50 million, not $5 million. The entire group's cash flow has been invested in projects, and not only can we not come up with $50 million, but even $10 million is out of the question. Lynn's father sighed heavily, gripping the policeman's hand. Comrade policeman, I can only rely on you. Give it your all. Ding. The latest message from the kidnappers was a video. In the video, Lynn looked disheveled, crying and begging her parents to save her, while cursing the kidnappers. I am the employer, you blind fools, you've got the wrong person. Lynn has dug his own grave. After Suyen learned about the car accident involving Lynn's parents last time, he recommended someone to me, Zoe. It is said that he is a very famous detective in the industry and has even taught courses to the criminal police team. During the birthday party, Lynn secretly drugged a glass of wine. Zoe, disguised as a waiter, saw this and silently swapped the glass. As I tipped the glass of wine handed to me by Lynn, I saw Zoe nod to me from a distance, so I downed the wine in one gulp. Then, I handed the spiked drink to Lynn. She drank it, a few days before the banquet. I had anticipated that Lynn would make a move, so I prepared thoroughly in advance, including arranging our 2 rooms together and making door cards with reverse numbers. After all, this day was a rare opportunity for her to act. I thought Lynn was going to repeat her old tricks again. First, she would drug me, and then, while I was resting in my room, she would find someone to rape me. I arranged for Zoe to swap the door numbers of rooms 807 and 808, and I quietly replaced the room cards with the ones I had prepared in advance. At that time, the person she had arranged would only enter the room she herself was in. What I didn't expect was that she would dare to contact the kidnappers. 2 more days passed. The attention on the kidnapping of the Lynn family's daughter continued to rise. However, the kidnappers did not send any further messages. On this day, an anonymous netizen suddenly posted a video that caused a huge uproar. The cover was exactly the one the kidnappers had sent to Lynn's mother a couple of days ago. I clicked on the video and scrolled through the comments below. Damn, isn't this just a self-acted scam to swindle money? You've hit the nail on the head. She herself said she's the employer. So what else could it be if not a self-directed act? It's a mess now. Is she going to get kidnapped for real like this? Am I the only one who noticed she said she got the wrong person? It's terrifying when you think about it. Oh my, who was she trying to hire someone to kidnap? The label of victim was erased from Lynn, and the internet was flooded with curses. Netizens called on the police not to rescue her, saying it was all self-directed and self-acted, and going would just waste resources, but Lynn was truly kidnapped. The emergence of the video also quickly drew the attention of the police. The IP address that posted the video was traced to a small town near the border. By the time the local police arrived, the place was already deserted. Perspective Lynn. My name is Lynn. I am the real heiress. From the time I can remember, I was an orphan. The first time I was bullied in middle school, it was Axie who came to my rescue. I was happy, not because she had become the target of the bullies in my place. Instead, I could often enjoy the sight of her in disarray. She's truly hateful. She's prettier than me, studies better than me, and is better at sports than me. She always outshines me in every way, yet pretends to be deeply affectionate, which truly disgusts me. So when I was being bullied, I deliberately ran along the path Axie always took on her way home. What if I could drag her down with me? I thought. Later, I often saw bruises on Axie's back. Her complexion grew worse and worse, and I secretly rejoiced. Such days continued until that day, when I returned from my part-time job. They said that Axie's parents had come looking for her. In that moment, I wanted to kill her, to take her place, to become her. After failing the college entrance exam, I started working, changing jobs repeatedly. I earned 3,000 yuan a month for 4 years. When Gufeng found me, I was selling wine in a bar, to make a sale. I had to tolerate the wandering hands of those old men. It was truly disgusting. Fortunately, with Gufeng's care, my life improved significantly. It wasn't until that day when I saw Axie on a push notification on my phone. In the photo, she was glowing, while I, on the other hand, was crawling in the shadows. I showed the photo to Gufeng. Axie is not only a young lady from a wealthy family but also a new bride of a prestigious household now. He pushed the phone away with a wave of his hand. What's so great about it? In my eyes, 10 of her wouldn't measure up to you. I happily hugged him and kissed him. As night fell, I was half asleep when I heard him whisper softly in my ear, "I'm sorry, but I love you too much." I didn't understand why, but that night I had a dream. In my dream, I am called Lynn. I am the true heiress. My intuition told me that Gufeng was hiding something. Under my persistent questioning, Gufeng admitted that he had actually noticed it early on. When we first arrived at the orphanage, I was wearing little leather shoes. while Axie was wearing tattered cloth shoes, but he didn't dare to say it, fearing that once I became a wealthy young lady, I would no longer look upon him with favor. I had a huge argument with Gu Feng. In the scuffle, I fell to the ground, hitting my head on the corner of the bed. When I woke up, I had been reborn. In my previous life, when my parents came to the orphanage, I could tell they actually liked Axie more. So I suggested that my parents bring Axie home as well. Never did I expect that in this lifetime, Axie would directly replace me. Why? The position of the Lin family's young lady can only be mine. I made a huge scene downstairs at the Lin Group headquarters. After many twists and turns, I returned to the Lin family. However, Axie became Lin Yan, and I, renamed Lin Huan. I began to devise ways to eliminate her, but she was too guarded, and I couldn't make a move. So I went to find Su Yan. Without Su Yan, Axie is nothing. I told Su Yan that Axie was not clean, that she had been with many men, hoping he would see clearly. Su Yan, this blind fool, actually threatened me, saying that if I caused any more trouble, he had plenty of ways to get rid of me. I was a bit scared and stopped getting close to Axie, but I couldn't let it go. With Gu Feng's help, I secretly replaced her brake pads, so she would meet with an accidental death when she went out, and it would have nothing to do with me. Unfortunately, I failed. I glared at Ashi's smug face, my teeth grinding with hatred. Just you wait, I thought, as long as I have the will, it's only a matter of time before I finish her off, but I was still too naive. At the birthday banquet, Axie downed the wine I gave her in one go. I was so delighted that I almost burst out laughing. When she handed me a cup of wine, I quickly took it and took a couple of sips, managing to suppress my laughter. Perhaps because I was happy, I got drunk. After returning to my room, I fell into a deep sleep. When I woke up again, I was shocked to find myself bound and unable to move. With no idea where I was, I screamed in terror, "Help!" After shouting until my throat was parched, I finally saw two burly men strolling over slowly. "What are you yelling for? Keep yelling and I'll cut your tongue out, brother. Let her shout. No one can hear her anyway, and it'll save us trouble when she gets tired and calms down." I was horrified to realize that the voices of these two men were exactly the same as the voices of the kidnappers I had been in contact with. I've been kidnapped. The kidnappers are the ones I hired, but I clearly arranged for Ashi to be kidnapped. You've got the wrong person. I'm your employer. The one you were supposed to kidnap is my sister. I screamed in fear, hoping they would realize they had made a mistake. But they looked completely unconcerned. Aren't you twins? It doesn't matter which one we take, either way, you're both paying up, 50 million, not a single cent less. I trembled as I asked, what if there isn't 50 million? He grinned fiercely and said, no money, then I'll kill the hostage. I was abandoned once again. For a full 5 days, the kidnappers received not a single cent. They started beating me, cursing at me, and finally decided to kill me and flee. I didn't want to die. When the two of them grabbed the rope to strangle me, I spoke up. Have you ever heard of selling a pig for meat? If you sell me, you can still get some money. Isn't that better than killing me? I managed to escape unscathed as I had hoped. As I sat on the boat, swaying back and forth across the border, an inexplicable panic suddenly swept over me. The small red flags on the opposite shore gradually grew distant. I knew then that I could never return. Extra, Lin Yun had disappeared for 2 years. The police suddenly contacted them, saying that during a joint international operation to dismantle a telecom fraud syndicate, they had seen someone who resembled Lin Yun. This incident even made the news, with major media outlets widely reporting on it. Police in various regions have specially filmed videos to warn everyone. Do not attempt to illegally cross the border, as once you step over the borderline, you lose the protection of your homeland. What happened to her? Did she come back? Lin's mother asked anxiously. The other party was silent for a moment before saying, she took advantage of the chaos to escape. Her current whereabouts are unknown. Lin's mother shed tears. As long as she's alive, as long as she's alive. An hour ago, I received a call from the police. She was shot dead by the local police for aiding a crime boss's escape. Her body rolled down the ravine and hasn't been recovered yet. All right, then please tell my mother this when the time comes. Hearing the other party agree, I let out a long sigh and hung up the phone. The sound of a baby crying next door roused me, and I got up to check. Su-yin was cradling his daughter, humming incoherently to soothe her. Life was peaceful and serene. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. In my previous life, the college entrance exam and my daughter's Idols concert had coincided on the same afternoon. She threw down her admission ticket, dashed out the door, and said, I'm not taking the exam. There's always next year for the college entrance exam, but my brother's comeback concert is only today. He cried at the fan meet yesterday. Saying that only we are his light, I caught up to her on the highway, forced her into a taxi, and brought her back to the exam site. In the end, she got into a top university, achieving great success. The next day, entertainment headlines revealed that the top idol had been seen holding hands with a mysterious girl at the concert. When my daughter saw the trending topic, she went completely mad. Until the night of her graduation banquet, when my daughter tore up her admission letter, smashed her phone, and screamed at me, "She's wearing the same outfit as mine. If you hadn't stopped me, I would have been the one standing by his side." That very night, she pushed me off a high-rise building, and the hefty insurance money was squandered on her idol's concerts, buying out entire venues to follow her star. When I opened my eyes again, I was back the day before the college entrance exam. My daughter was in a frenzy, demanding to go to a concert. I smiled brightly. "Go ahead. What's the college entrance exam compared to your idol brother?" I stood in the living room, the intense pain from my fall still lingering at the back of my head, and my daughter's shouting screams ringing in my ears. "There's a college entrance exam every year, but today is the only concert after brother's comeback." My daughter threw her admission ticket to the ground, her eyes blazing with fury. "He cried at the meet and greet yesterday. The company has exploited him to the point of relapsing into depression, and he's been staying up late to practice dancing until his knees are ruined. If it weren't for me, he wouldn't be able to survive." "Mom, do you even know how hard it is for him?" I looked at her excited face, and in my mind, I flashed back to the previous life, when she had pushed me off a high-rise building with a twisted expression. My body was still trembling slightly, but my heart had already turned as cold as stone. I looked up and gave an extraordinarily bright smile. "Sure, go ahead," not expecting me to agree so readily. She narrowed her eyes suspiciously. "You really let me go? You're not stopping me." "Why would I stop you?" I spread my hands, speaking in a relaxed tone. "What's the college entrance exam compared to your idol brother? You'll be an adult next month, so you can make your own decisions. Mom wishes you and your brother a mutual journey." A hint of smugness flashed in her eyes, and she immediately reached out. "Dormitory fee, travel fare, concert ticket, total $8,000. Hurry up, I need to catch the last bus." I slowly sat down, picked up my teacup, and took a sip. "No money," I said. "You know, Mom's salary is just enough to cover a flower arrangement course." Her eyes widened. "Are you crazy? Flower arrangement? What does a middle-aged woman like you need to learn flower arrangement for? Can't a middle-aged woman have hobbies?" I tilted my head. "You always say that people should live for themselves. I'm just following your advice and choosing my own path." She was trembling with anger, pointing at me and screaming, "How can you be so selfish? You've spent all the money, and where am I supposed to get the funds to retake the exam?" I gave a cold laugh. Did she still want to repeat the year? In her heart, idol worship was the entirety of her life's meaning. Everything else had to take a back seat. In her previous life, she believed that as her mother, I should empty everything and support her selflessly. She complained to others more than once, saying that I had no life of my own, living like an empty shell, which drove her father to divorce me. She knew full well that it was her father who had cheated first, but her lies made everyone believe that I was a bitter, resentful woman, using her daughter as a means to fill my emptiness, and she, chasing after her idol, was living a truly vibrant life. I leaned lazily against the sofa. "You said you weren't going to take the exam, so why bother with a retake? Go fulfill your life's worth. I won't stop you anymore. Mom has done her duty." Her expression was a spectacle, shifting from shock to anger, then to disbelief. I shrugged. "You could ask your dad for it too." She froze. Her dad was now completely focused on his new wife and son, and even the alimony payments were delayed repeatedly after the marriage. "You're doing this on purpose," she hissed through gritted teeth. "You just want to force me to take the college entrance exam." I laughed, this time really laughing out loud. "No, I really do support you chasing your star." I stood up, patted her shoulder. "Go ahead, don't leave any regrets." My daughter's face turned pale and then flushed, and finally, she stormed out with a loud slam of the door. In the corridor, my daughter dialed a number, and I stood behind the door, my ears perked up. "Dad, my mom has gone crazy." Chinsian's gentle male voice came through the phone. "What's wrong?" "My dear daughter, take your time and tell me slowly. Tomorrow is Ziyao's comeback concert, and I absolutely have to go." Her voice grew more and more excited. "But my mom won't let me go. She wants to use the money to learn flower arrangement or something." I almost burst out laughing. "No," I clearly said, "go ahead," but apparently, in her eyes, not giving her money was the same as not letting her go. "Is that so?" Chinsian's voice paused for a moment. "Daughter, tomorrow your dad just happens to be going on a business trip to Shanghai to discuss a project." His pause made me think he would at least pretend to persuade her that tomorrow is the college entrance exam. Obviously, he didn't even remember what day tomorrow is. Then transfer me 8,000 first. Her voice lowered. I really have to go. He sighed. The company's funds are all tied up in projects right now. How about this? When Dad returns from his business trip, I'll definitely make it up to you. Okay, classic line, next time for sure, but there's never a next time. Back then, when Chinxian got involved with the company assistant, I divorced him with Xiaoqing, only taking a house. Not a single extra piece of property. The assistant gave birth to a son after marriage, firmly securing her position as a daughter-in-law of the Chen family. Grandma Xiao pretended to be affectionate towards her granddaughter, but secretly believed that girls were a financial burden. Later, she was so overjoyed that she could hardly stop smiling, constantly holding her little grandson and calling him the heir of the Zhao family, while barely sparing a smile for Xiaoqing. After the call ended, the door was suddenly pushed open, and her daughter rushed in with red eyes. I leisurely flipped a page of the magazine. Did your good daddy give you money? She glared at me with gritted teeth. My dad gave me money as soon as he returned from his business trip and even praised me for having dreams, unlike you, who has money but insists on learning that crappy flower arrangement. I sneered, too lazy to argue. Fine, your dad is good to you, so rely on him then. Her expression twisted instantly. Just you wait. I won't rely on you. After speaking, she slammed the door shut with a final, forceful bang and went into the bedroom. In the evening, I heard her rummaging through the room, and then a clatter, as if coins had spilled all over the floor. Through the slightly ajar door, I saw her stuffing money from her piggy bank into her school bag. That was the New Year's money she had saved over 5 years. She even sold the learning tablet I had bought her with great difficulty last year. I remember her once vowing solemnly that she would save her New Year's money for a graduation trip. Clearly, the idol was far more important than her own promise. My daughter got her wish and went to the concert, and for 2 straight days, her social media was flooded with updates. Photos flooded the scene, close-ups of the stage, support lightboards, location check-ins, nothing was missed. My husband's stage performance is absolutely amazing. This is the destined two-way bond. There was also a blurry selfie of a side profile, with the caption, "Holy crap, Xiao just looked over here, he gave me a heart." The comment section was bustling with activity, classmates giving likes, and netizens expressing envy. She replied even more enthusiastically, "My husband's gentle gaze tonight was all for me. I'm truly dying of happiness." I logged into the small account I had prepared long ago, with a profile picture of an ordinary girl, making it look like I was just an inconspicuous fan following a celebrity. I clicked on my daughter's latest Weibo post and commented below, "Could you really see the gaze from the last row?" Soon, dozens of comments appeared under hers, as fans who didn't attend flooded the screen with their sourness. The last row, laughing to death, so delusional. Brother's heart gestures for the front VIPs, wake up, laughing to death. Just now you said Xiao was always looking at you, and now you're sitting on the mountaintop. Someone directly told her, "Zia treats all fans the same, so please don't bring him any bad publicity." "Thank you," she replied with some stubborn words. "You're just jealous. My husband was definitely looking at me. The more you're sour, the more I have." But the comments got harsher, and even a few major fans chimed in, "Sister, your photo doesn't even clearly show his face. How can you tell he was looking at you?" Half an hour later, she deleted that post, and I couldn't help but chuckle softly. She was still as concerned about her image as ever. I closed my eyes, filled with regret, constantly wondering which step I had taken wrong to turn my daughter into such a heartless person. After the divorce, Chinxian's alimony was never fully paid, and I had to bear all the expenses for our daughter's food, clothing, and daily needs on my own. Life felt like a tightly strung bow, and I was terrified that being from a single-parent family would make her feel inferior. I would rather wear old clothes and eat plain porridge, just to ensure she had a good life. She believed my sacrifices were her due, and her desires grew like wild weeds. Xiaoqing is actually very intelligent. With just a little effort, she could rank at the top of her class, but she uses her talent as a bargaining chip, always causing a scene with me before exams, demanding exorbitant concert tickets, limited edition merchandise, fan meetings, leaving me gasping for air. As a clerical accountant earning a monthly salary of 10,000, after paying the mortgage, utilities, and daily expenses, there's hardly anything left. For her sake, I work overtime year-round, my eyes suffering, my fingers numb from typing, yet she never shows any understanding. In my previous life, she was so selfish that she didn't even bother to take the college entrance exam, the only time I was tough with her. She repaid me by pushing me off a high-rise building herself. Having died once, I finally realized, why should I sacrifice my life for her stardom? I won't tolerate such an ungrateful person anymore. I opened the payment app, found the account Xiaoyu had linked for family sharing, with a low limit of only 500. Without hesitation, I clicked to unlink it. An hour later, the phone rang. "Mom, came the furious voice of my daughter from the other end of the line. Why can't I use my intimate payment? I don't have money to buy a ticket home now, I said slowly. Oh, I unlinked it. You said you weren't relying on me, didn't you? You're vicious, selfish. Xiao Qing's voice trembled with anger. You just want to humiliate me, if I starve to death outside. You'll be satisfied. Are you even human? She cursed like a machine gun, but all I could do was laugh. In my previous life, when she called me useless, I would lie awake, heartbroken. Now, all I want to do is give her a couple of good slaps, then go find your dad. He definitely wouldn't bear to let his little treasure suffer. I hung up the phone decisively and turned it to silent mode. As expected, 3 minutes later, my phone started vibrating like crazy again. This time, it was Chenxiang. As soon as I picked up, he started yelling at me. How do you even be a mother? Your daughter is all alone in another city, and you didn't even buy her a ticket home, just leaving her there like that. She's your own daughter. How can your heart be so black? I raised an eyebrow lightly. Didn't she tell you? She went to a concert. So what if the daughter goes to a concert? Young people with dreams are something special. I gave a cold laugh. Then do you know what day it was yesterday? What day is it? The day of the college entrance exam, I said slowly and clearly. Your daughter didn't go to the exam, she chose the concert over the exam. There was an awkward silence on the other end of the line. I guess Chenxiang was trying to recall which grade his daughter was in. Finally, he opted to change the subject. Well, why didn't you stop her? Now she's alone in another city. Safety is the most important thing. You can't treat a child like this. Oh, I sneered. Then you can send her money. I was too tired to listen to his nonsense anymore and hung up the phone directly. Early in the morning on the third day, I was drinking coffee when the door creaked open. My daughter shuffled in, her face covered in dust, her hair a mess like a bird's nest, as if she had just crawled back from a construction site. She threw her backpack on the ground, glaring at me with eyes red like a rabbit's. Are you satisfied now? She hissed through gritted teeth. Luckily, Dad gave me $300, and I had to sit for 36 hours on a hard seat to get back. 36 hours, my legs are swollen, and the carriage stank like a garbage dump. You've made my life miserable. So happy now. Ha, I raised an eyebrow. Oh, your dad is really generous, not even willing to buy you a hard sleeper on the green train. Shut up. She kicked the backpack. Dad did his best. He has a family to support, unlike you. Just standing there coldly watching me suffer. At least Dad cares about me. You're just a heartless, vicious woman. She looked at me, her eyes like venom. You still expect me to take care of you in your old age? How dare you treat me like this? I waved my hand. No, when I'm old, I'll go to a nursing home. If that doesn't work, I'll just end it all. I've lived long enough anyway. Her face twisted as if she was about to pounce. Not relying on me for your old age. Ha, fine. That's what you said. Just you wait and see. She stormed into the room with her backpack, slamming the door so hard it rattled the walls. Tomorrow morning, the entertainment headlines will explode with news of Jiang Ziao holding hands with a fan. I took out my phone and dialed Chenxiang's number. I need to go on a business trip for a few days. You come and pick up our daughter to stay with you. Chenxiang stammered. I'm extremely busy these days. There's an important project at the company. I sneered. Then should I send her to her grandmother's? The old lady is always saying how much she misses her granddaughter. The voice on the phone immediately tensed up. No, I'll come to pick you up, first thing tomorrow morning. The next day, just as the sky was beginning to lighten, I was dragging my suitcase, ready to leave, when suddenly a heart-wrenching scream came from my daughter's room. I stopped in my tracks, the corners of my mouth involuntarily curling upward. What a beautiful sound. In my previous life, this news utterly shattered her. She tore the admission notice to shreds and ultimately pushed me off a high-rise building. This time around, I'm going to make sure her father gets a taste of what I went through. As I walked to the garage and was about to get into the car, I heard hurried footsteps behind me. Lucian, look. I turned my head, and my daughter caught up, her hair disheveled, her eyes red like a wild beast. She grabbed my arm fiercely, the force almost digging into my flesh. With her other hand, she wildly shook her phone, the screen displaying a trending entertainment news headline. Top star Jiang Ziao spotted holding hands with a mysterious female fan after concert, returning together to a hotel. In the photo, her idol was seen with his arm around a girl, the two appearing intimately close. This is the spot, she screamed, her fingers trembling as she zoomed in on the photo. Row 4, seat 12. The VIP section I was going to buy. Her fingers swiped across the screen, flipping through a series of comparison images, dresses, hairstyles, seat numbers, analyzing them like a detective. It should have been mine. She suddenly erupted in an uncontrolled shouting, tears and snot smeared across her face. If you had given me the money, I would be standing by his side right now. You ruined my chance. What's the point of living? I might as well die. I watched her coldly. Scenes from my past life flashing before my eyes. She tore up the 211 admission letter, screamed at me, pushed me off a high-rise building. This time, her madness was the same old routine. I spoke slowly and deliberately. Die, that won't do. If you really die, who will hold the light sign for your brother at the fan meet? Don't let those female fans monopolize your brother. Those words were like pouring gasoline on a fire. Are you even human? She shoved me hard, and my back slammed against the car door, pain shooting through me. All you've ever done since I was little is force me to study. My dad was right. You're a bitch. You stole me away from my dad. You gave birth but didn't raise me. If I had stayed with my dad, I would have had a good life by now. Instead of suffering with you, I straightened up and slapped her across the face. Smack. The crisp sound echoed through the parking lot. She covered her face, her eyes wide with disbelief. You dare hit me. From a young age, I have always been patient in guiding her, gently advising her, never once raising a hand. Do I need to pick a special day to discipline my disobedient daughter? I said coldly. I raised you for 18 years, yet you value a stranger's glance more than my care. This slap, I should have given it long ago. You're full of it, she screamed as she lunged forward. You don't understand it all. Smack. The second slap was even harder, forcing her head to turn to the side. This slap is for your stupidity and wickedness. I yanked at her collar. Do you really think spending 8,000 yuan on a seat will get you noticed? I scrimped and saved to support your obsession with him. And it cost me my life, yet I couldn't even earn a single glance. She struggled wildly, her nails leaving bloody scratches on my arm. At least my brother wouldn't treat me like this. He sees me as his light, his salvation. But you, smack. The third slap sent her crashing to the ground. The slap, I said, looking down at her, is for you calling the thief your father. She slumped to the ground, a trickle of blood at the corner of her mouth, yet still laughing. Haha, are you angry? Because I hit the truth. You're just jealous that my dad loves me more than yours ever did. Dad doesn't want you, and neither do I. You ruined my life. I curse you to die in a nursing home with no one to claim your body. I laughed out loud. With a wretch like you, I'd be better off counting on a stray dog. I turned around, pulled open the car door, and threw out my final words. If you want to go crazy, find your dad. I don't have time to act out your melodrama. As the car started, I saw her through the rearview mirror, kneeling on the ground, clutching her hair and wailing in heart-rending sobs. Behind me, curses kept pouring out. I'm telling Dad, you've abused me. I'll make him throw you in jail. Just wait and die. Chen Xiang took away his daughter, and that very night, her new update flooded the social media. Dad brought me to eat Japanese food endorsed by Ziyao. Some people will never understand what love is. In the photo, Chen Xiang is with Wu Mei and Chen Xiaojiang, while Xiaoqing sits in the middle. She is holding chopsticks and a peace sign, and on the table is the Wagyu set meal endorsed by her idol. I stared at the photo and couldn't help but let out a cold laugh. She probably didn't know that this was Chen Xiaojiang's favorite restaurant, and every dish in the photo was ordered according to Xiaojiang's taste. Chen Xiang thought she was just staying for a few days, and after casually taking her out for a meal, she blew it up as boundless paternal love. I retorted in the comments, I hear Ziyao is having a fan meet and greet. Since your dad loves you so much, he must have bought you a ticket, right? Within 10 minutes, my comment was deleted, and my profile picture was blocked by her. I guess she was also feeling guilty, so blocking her was perfect. My goal was to cut all ties with her permanently. With that little bit of fatherly love Chen Xiang had, he couldn't even bear to buy Xiaojiang an extra piece of fried chicken, so expecting him to pay for her to repeat a year of school was out of the question. In her previous life, he didn't even show up when Xiaoqing was hospitalized. This time around, I'm curious to see how Xiaoqing will manage to rise to success with her father's help. I was enjoying a wonderful vacation in Yunnan, not answering calls or replying to messages. Chen Xiang sent countless messages every day, asking when I would take Xiaoqing back. My daughter had quieted down for now, but with her vicious nature, she wouldn't let it rest. Sure enough, a week later, a trending post popped up on my phone, its title like a blade piercing the eye. PUA-style mother forced me to abandon my exams. Is it a distortion of human nature or a failure of education? Clicking in, I found it was indeed my daughter's little essay. She tearfully recounted how I had been cold and violent towards her, calling her useless, and how she found energy through idolizing celebrities. I had even taken her away from her doting father, and on the day of the college entrance exam, I told her that since she wouldn't pass anyway, she shouldn't go and might as well start working in a factory early. She twisted the truth, fabricating chat screenshots by cutting off the beginning and end, how I unlinked her from my family payment plan, how I mocked her, how I made her life suffocating. The comment section exploded with outrage from netizens. This kind of mother is too malicious. Can parents get certified before they can have kids? I know this type of PUA mother all too well. On the surface, she pretends to be doing it for your own good, but in reality, she's out to ruin your life. Her control is so extreme, the child is so pitiful. Single-parent families are just psychologically twisted. My daughter thought I was still the same as in my previous life. Someone who wouldn't go online or know how to read forums. I understand what this means. If I don't fight back, I'll be exposed online and doxxed. There are too many middle-aged people who don't understand the internet, whose peaceful lives are disrupted, and who eventually can't withstand the cyberbullying and take their own lives. However, this time around, I have all my alternate accounts ready, and I've recorded every argument with her. I started a new post with a straightforward title. The Truth, Who Forced Him to Skip the Exam, A Mother's PUA Diary, her voice before the college entrance exam, where she insisted she wouldn't take it, along with the bills for her idol chasing over the past few years, and the chat logs where she threatened not to study unless I gave her money. All of it was laid out by me. Within half an hour of the post going up, it had over 10,000 views, and the comments section exploded. This daughter is a real ingrate. Her mom works so hard and gets slandered. She spent all her New Year's money on chasing idols and blames her mom. Where's her shame? Her daughter's post was pushed to the obscure section, and the comment section became her public execution ground. The netizen anti-idolization bot directly tagged Jiang Xiao's studio. Chasing idols has left them with no sense of values. It is recommended that the idol's studio blacklist such dangerous fans. The entire incident escalated completely. Jiang Xiao consequently made it to the hot trending, with hashtag Jiang Xiao fans hanging on the top of Weibo for a full day. That evening, Jiang Xiao's studio issued a statement. We firmly oppose all irrational fan behavior. I brewed a cup of coffee, a smirk playing on my lips. For the fangirls, this was the end of the world. Unfortunately, I had no intention of stopping. Strike the snake at its 7 inches. In my previous life, I had never known how ugly her obsession with stardom could be. From the day I was reborn in this life, I began collecting her glorious deeds. There are tutorials of her teaching people how to pee funeral photos using her small account in the fan forum, and chat records of her bragging about stalking her idol's schedule in private fan groups. There are also her insults towards Jiang Xiao's teammates and her spreading rumors about her teammates' scandals. I organized these screenshots and posted them in her idol's fan forum. Title: Come and see the true face of the well-behaved daughter forced into stalker fandom. In an instant, countless fans flooded her daughter's various social media accounts with their comments. How dare a stalker fan pretend to be a victim? You dare to insult our brother for getting plastic surgery. Your idol must have fallen from grace. Get out of the fandom, you stalker dog. My daughter was frantic, jumping onto her main account to rant, calling the opposing fans brainless, accusing them of riding the coattails of her popularity, and accusing netizens of being jealous of her love. As a result, her words ignited a powder keg, and hashtag stalkerfancrazy shot to the top of the trending searches. Opposing fans and ordinary netizens joined forces to tear into her. That night, Jiang Xiao's studio issued another announcement, stating that they would investigate the stalker fan incident and warning that such behavior was illegal. Her main account was besieged by fans, who collectively reported her, leading to her account being banned. The fan support group issued a blacklist announcement themselves, and the fandom declared that she would never be accepted. The fans were the fastest, with many methods, and soon my daughter's home address was exposed, of course. It wasn't my address, but the house where Chenxiang lived, registered under my daughter's school records. I was already in the process of preparing to open a flower shop with a friend in Yunnan. The friend found a flower arrangement teacher who happened to live in the same community as Chenxiang. In the afternoon, as soon as the car pulled into the underground garage, I heard the familiar sound of an argument. I peeked out and saw the drama unfolding. I'm not going back, I'd rather die. That bitch made me the target of a viral internet insult, and she even hit me. Do you want me to go back and die? My daughter's voice trembled with tears. Dad, you promised me this would be my home. It's all her fault. If she hadn't refused to give me money, I would have bought the VIP ticket, and my brother wouldn't have run off with someone else. The situation is special now. Chenxiang suppressed his anger. Our home address has been exposed. And those lunatics could show up at any moment. Go stay with your mom for a few days. Why should I hide? They're the ones cyberbullying me, because of the mess you've caused. Chenxiang suddenly raised his voice. My project is in a critical phase of fundraising, and our home address has been dug up. The property management group is already cursing at us. Do you want to drag the whole family down? The voice-activated lights in the garage turned on. I saw my daughter take a sudden step back, as if seeing her father's face for the first time. I sat in the car, arms crossed, watching the drama unfold. My daughter had finally realized that the father she relied on wasn't as loving as she had boasted. At that moment, Wumei stepped out of the elevator in her high heels, pointing at Xiaoqing and shouting, "You jinx, in just a few days, you've turned the house upside down. Our address has been exposed, and the neighbors laugh at us. Are you still going to stay here? Get out now. How dare you insult me?" My daughter lunged forward. "It's you. You're the one who convinced my dad to abandon me, you despicable homewrecker." The daughter screamed and grabbed hold of Wumei's hair, and the two of them rolled directly onto the ground. Qinxiang tried to break up the fight, but Wumei's sharp nails scratched his face all over. "Mom," a chubby boy came rushing out of the elevator. It was Qin Xiaojing. He swung the Lego box and smashed it onto his sister's head. "Don't you dare hit my mom." His daughter kicked him in the stomach with one swift motion, and Qin Xiaojing burst into loud wails on the spot. "What a sin." The old lady, trembling, got off the car and swung her cane, striking her daughter's back. "How dare you hit my grandson?" The garage instantly descended into chaos. Qin Xiaojing was vomiting, Wumei was cursing. The old lady was hitting, Qinxiang was trying to mediate, and the daughter was screaming. I sat in the car, silently raising my phone to capture the scene, then uploaded it to my Moments with the caption, "Qin Family Full Martial Arts Showdown." In the evening, as soon as I got home, the doorbell rang. Peering through the peephole, I saw it was my daughter. Her hair was messy, she was carrying a tattered bag, and her face wore an ingratiating smile. "Mom," her voice was soft and delicate, "I was wrong. I didn't open the door. I really know I was wrong," she said, lowering her head and twisting the hem of her shirt with her fingers. "I want to repeat the year. I'll study hard this time. Please, give me a chance. I want to go to university. Mom, help me, please." Tears clung to her lashes, and her shoulders trembled slightly. She looked utterly pitiful. If it had been my past self, I probably would have softened, but today, I glanced at the calendar on my phone and suddenly laughed. It turned out to be the day the college entrance exam results were released. I opened Weibo and saw fans posting screenshots of their admission to Tsinghua and Peking University. What was even more glaring was that Jiang Ziao had liked this post and replied, "Congratulations, the future is promising," which instantly set off a frenzy in the comments section. I stared at the screen, my cold smile deepening. Her pretense of repentance was devoid of any sincerity. She was still the same. Through the door, I coldly said, "Repeating a grade, you still have to pay tuition first. No money." The sobbing outside the door abruptly ceased. "Open the door." Her voice suddenly became sharp. "What do you mean? I've already lowered myself, and you still want to drive me away? I really want to study. Are you that heartless? Didn't you say you wanted to earn your tuition by yourself?" I asked through the door. There was a loud thud from outside, as if she had kicked the door. And soon the knocking turned into kicking. "Do you think I care about your money? I don't believe I can't survive without you. Just wait and see." She cursed for a full 5 minutes, the door being kicked with loud thuds, and her footsteps gradually faded away. I pulled back the curtains and watched her angry back disappear at the entrance of the residential complex. The next day, her classmate sent me a message, "Auntie, I saw Xiaoqing working at Nightingale KTV. That KTV is run by Jiang Ziao's fans." Accompanying the message was a photo of my daughter, heavily made up, pouring drinks for a table of guests. I replied, "Thank you, Xiaolu. Auntie understands. In my previous life, I treated her as my life, but she treated my life as grass. In this life, all I want to say is, what does it have to do with me?" I started to sell the house, but unexpectedly, a few days later, I received an electronic invitation to my daughter's 18th birthday banquet, sent by Qin Xiangfa. I was puzzled, wondering what kind of scheme this was, but I decided to go and see for myself. On the day of the banquet, I dressed up meticulously, wearing a well-tailored dark green dress and a light makeup that made me look like a completely different person. As I pushed the door open, Qinxiang's hand holding the champagne froze in midair. Wumei's fake smile got stuck on her face, and my daughter widened her eyes, staring at me for a long time before she finally recognized me. It was no wonder. In my previous life, I scrimped and saved, unwilling to buy even a new dress for Xiaoqing, and ended up looking like a true haggard old woman. In this life, I treat myself well, exercise, take care of my skin, learn flower arrangement, and have long since embraced a new way of living. The banquet hall was decorated in a gaudy and ostentatious manner, with Jiang Ziao's limited edition merchandise on the tables, resembling a small fan gathering. The family appeared to be enjoying themselves, with Xiaoqing dressed in her newly purchased sequined dress, posing like a princess. Qinxiang held a wineglass and stepped up to give a speech. "Today is my beloved daughter Xiaoqing's 18th birthday. Thank you all for attending my daughter's coming-of-age ceremony. He affectionately put his arm around his daughter's shoulder. "Today, I have 2 announcements to make." He snapped his fingers, and a waiter wheeled in a display board covered with a red cloth. "First, I've established the Starlight Culture MCN company, dedicated to supporting my daughter's dream of stardom." The red cloth was lifted, revealing the company's name in gilded letters. With his daughter listed as the legal representative, the guests let out exaggerated exclamations. And Wu Mei led the applause, while Chen Xiaojing reluctantly clapped twice. Second, Chen Xiang produced a red envelope with a magician's flourish. "This is your startup fund from Dad." As the daughter took the absurdly thick red envelope, her fingers trembled. "Thank you, Dad." The daughter suddenly turned to look at me, her lips curling in a challenging smile. At the gathering, Chen Xiang approached with a wineglass in hand, and Xiaoqing followed behind. The 2 of them acting like a well-rehearsed theatrical troupe. Xiaoqing glared at me with venom. "Lucian, how dare you show your face here? That outfit of yours, designer dress, designer bag, must cost tens of thousands at least. You spend money on yourself but can't afford to pay for my retake fees. You're a disgrace as a mother. At least Dad cares about me." Chen Xiang chimed in, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "You're living the high life now, aren't you? Even carrying a designer bag." "I thought you were a good mother back then, but look how you treat Xiaoqing now that she's with you." I couldn't be bothered to engage in a verbal sparring match with them. I shrugged. "You're both absolutely right." Xiaoqing was just about to speak angrily when Chen Xiang stopped her, saying he wouldn't lower himself to my level and asked her to go toast the bank presidents first. She snorted coldly, turned around, and left, still holding the red envelope, which she shook triumphantly. Only I knew that her nightmare was about to begin. In my previous life, Chen Xiang's company was on the verge of bankruptcy, with tens of millions in debt. In this life, I sent Xiaoqing to him, and he couldn't wait for her to grow up. The MCN company is just a front. With a few tens of thousands of dollars, they could coax her into obediently following their orders, allowing them to register a shell company in her daughter's name to take out loans, leaving behind a mountain of bad debts that would ultimately fall on Xiaoqing. Xiaoqing eagerly flew to another city for a fan meeting, bought the most expensive VIP tickets, rented a support vehicle, and even customized limited edition hand banners worth over 1,000 yuan. In her previous life, she spent my insurance money in the same extravagant manner, emptying out merchandise, booking entire performances, believing she was just one step away from her idol. She also registered a new account and crafted a persona of a wealthy and elegant young woman for herself. Every time there was an offline event, she would treat her local fans to meals, spending generously. She then hired internet trolls to flood the comments section with messages like, "Missy, please take me in," and "This is the ultimate level of fandom," and similar comments. Before long, her followers grew from a few hundred to tens of thousands, making her a well-known influencer in the fandom community. I opened the Enterprise Credit app, and the page showed that 3 shell companies under Chen Xiang's name had completed legal representative changes. The new legal representative was none other than Xiaoqing, who had just come of age. These companies were burdened with several business loans, with millions of loans. Chen Xiang would give her a red envelope of 10 to 20,000 yuan each time. With this money, she continued to fly across the country to attend concerts, buy front-row tickets, customize support lightboards, and even rent out coffee shops to host fan parties. At one fan meeting, she spent a fortune on front-row tickets, wore a custom-made gown, and screamed the entire time with a glow stick in hand. Finally, she got Jiang Ziao to nod at her, and he even shook hands with her individually as he left. She was so excited that she burst into tears on the spot, filming the handshake and posting the video to her account with the caption, "Xiao's hand is so warm, our fate was destined." The comments section quickly filled up. "Holy crap, was she picked? Sis is awesome." Bruh shook hands. "Is the official announcement next? Rich lady, take me flying. The young mistress is indeed wealthy." Xiaoqing replied one by one, lost in her fantasies, believing she was just one step away from dating her idol. I scrolled through her new account, sneering coldly. She was stepping deeper into debt, chasing an illusory dream. Unfortunately, when the dream shattered, all that remained were an empty shell of a company and a mountain of debts. A month later, having just sold my house and arrived in Yunnan, I received a long-awaited call from Xiaoqing. At 3 in the morning, the screen of my phone lit up in the darkness. I picked up, and her voice was like a torn piece of cloth, trembling with sobs. "Mom, after the concert, I came back and found Dad, Wu Mei, Xiaojiang, Grandma, all gone. The property management said the house has been sold, and the bank just called, saying I owe 20 million in loans. Mom, what should I do?" She choked on her words, her tone frantic, like someone drowning. "I have nowhere to go. Mom, please, help me." I leaned back on the sofa, letting out a cold laugh. In my previous life, she pushed me off the building without batting an eye, and now she suddenly remembers me. "You can ask your brother to borrow some." I said softly. After all, he admires you so much. She froze, then screamed, "Are you even human? I'm like this, and you're still mocking me. Dad deceived me, you don't care about me, and you're just going to watch me die." I spoke leisurely. "Whoever tricked you, go find them, don't worry. I'll send your dad's new address right now. Go ask him for money." After hanging up, I casually sent Chinxian's new address to her phone, adding, "Remember to bring a gift." To my surprise, she actually went to borrow money from Jiang Xiao. As soon as I checked the news, the headlines exploded. "Stalker fan stabs. Top star Jiang Xiao attacked." In the video, my daughter squatted in a corner of the underground garage, disheveled, her eyes fixed intently on the elevator entrance. Jiang Xiao appeared, and he appeared with his new girlfriend in his arms. Xiaoqing's eyes went from shock to fury. Like a wild beast, she charged forward, picking up a brick from the ground and slamming it hard against the girl's back. The subsequent scenes were chaotic, security guards rushing over, the girl fleeing by taxi, and ambulances wailing in the distance. I couldn't sleep a wink, clutching my phone the entire time, scrolling through the news, afraid of missing the final act. On the third day, Xiaoqing was arrested at Chinxian's home. When the police found her, she was lying in a pool of blood, holding a knife, with Chinxian beside her, barely clinging to life with a knife plunged into his chest. Wu Mei, along with Qin Xiaojing and their grandmother, had gone out to visit relatives, narrowly escaping this bloody ordeal. Her eyes were hollow, and she kept mumbling, "He ruined my life. If it weren't for him making me take on debt, I would have been standing by my brother's side." I turned off my phone and looked up at the flower stand outside the window. The flower shop in Yunnan had just opened, and the sunlight streaming in felt warm, like a new beginning. In my previous life, I sacrificed myself for Xiaoqing's stardom. This time, I live for myself. After hearing the two stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.